So we all have our own way to start the beat, but I'm always curious on how the artists that I really like start their own music. So I was watching this interview of Kaytranada.
Fait tes hi-hats en premier.
So I was like, that's a little bit interesting. So I wanted to kind of follow that. So to kind of make sure that I have some like really good groove, I get the SP404. Let's try to kind of record some stuff into Logic. Have some hi-hats. Now it's a little bit weird to start with the hi-hat because there is no kind of real context. For me, for instance, I like to start with either the sample or some keys, or at the most, I like to start with the drums, like kick and snare. But with the hi-hats, is that something that you do? So to give a little bit more room for mistake, I think I would just record something, or at least I would just let the recording run, and then I guess we'll chop whatever I got afterwards. I think that's something cool. Still unknown if that will fit with the whatever kind of groove we'll come up with, but let's see. Okay, this one. Another one. Still don't know. Let's tackle the other drums, I guess. Like this as the main snare. With all of this recording from the SP also, there is bound to be some sort of latency, but I guess latency is somewhat good in some ways because it creates like a little off the grid feel. The snare is very early. Let's try to at least move the first note a little bit, and then for the rest, I guess we'll leave it as a little bit late. There are some that are very early, some that are kind of right on the grid. The weird thing about making the start with these hi-hats is that I have no idea if these hi-hats are like proper on the grid. I'm sure they're all over the place, but I guess that's the fun part, I guess. This gig is way off. This gig is way off the... Let's do this again. This is not really working. I failed in setting up the kick. The latency is too much on the kick, so let's do this again, I guess. Does that sound... I don't know, man. The latency is crazy, man. See, this is a very big time consuming because right now I'm just here. I think let's introduce some melodic stuff because I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Okay. It is too off the grid. Never thought I would complain about being too off the grid, but it is. And I'm making my life more complicated by playing and then recording here because the latency is horrible. But it's all good. I'm already here. Alright, let's try to work on what we have so far. So I got a bunch of if I omit the kick, snare, and the piano, this is all the hi-hats. There is something there, at least, I think. And you already know what's coming. dealing with all of this is kind of it's not so fun. I have something. I will try to look for a bass, guitar bass, yes. So this I think will be a good bass. Yes, this will be a good bass. Let's try to find something on the microKORG. Already got it plugged in. Okay, we are getting somewhere. Yes, that's something. Okay, let's add. It's getting somewhere. It's getting somewhere. Let's add this crowd a little bit. There is a good skeleton here, man. I like this. Attempted a little piano play. Let's record that. Wait a minute. We are getting somewhere, man. Alright, so I did a few kind of adjustments, few processing, and I have a kind of a cool beat. But as far as starting the beat with the hi-hats, it is not for me, I think. Especially in this setup where I'm playing the hi-hat and then there is the latency from Logic and stuff like this. It becomes a little bit frustrating. Because like, if I start with the hi-hat, I don't know where the actual grid is, because there is always a latency. So the best is, I guess for me at least, is to have some sort of like anchor point, like a snare or like a kick, if I'm going to start with the drums. But most of the time I prefer to start with like the things like the melody, a sample, stuff like this. But to start with the hi-hat, yeah, no man, that's not for me. But yes, I recommend watching that Kaytranada interview. But this is the beat, I guess. I'll just play a little bit. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.